King of the hill, king of the hill, king of the hill. Thank you guys for watching. This is a really hot hike today. It's really hot out here. I found some shade over here behind this. I took like a 20-minute nap or something, and then the bugs started biting me. They was really made it. It's a good hike, good hike, good hike. Now got to get back down, but I'm gonna tell you guys a story. Lovely lady. Okay, so I don't think you guys will be able to hear me. Let me put on my earpiece. Wait up. But I haven't been up here almost in a year or something. But it's very dry up here. That little right here. I don't know. I was hearing, pretty sure I was hearing that noise all the way coming up here. And yeah, this little spot, too bad it's all overgrown and no one like maintained it or tried to clear up the brush. And it's a good little spot to come here. Here's where I was like thinking I was gonna chill right here, but there's no room. This little area. I built a fire pit last time. Now it's no more. This was all cleared. I cleared it up. This would be like a nice, like I will sit right here. I need to bring like a little rake up here. Is there any spirit beings up here? A lot of insects. That would be an ideal spot right here, but it's all crazy. The tree looked like it broke. So this is it. This is what we came for. So this is here's where I was chilling. Good little spot. Bugs. It's so dry up everywhere. Usually that's all green up there. Okay. I wanted to do a video up here about my UFO encounter, alien encounter, because that's what basically my channel is basically saying, that I was abducted by a UFO. A UFO. So I know I wrote it on plenty of channels and said this and that, and hopefully it doesn't fall right there. So in 1991-ish, yeah, 1991, I was like 6 years old, and I was living in Garden Grove, California, and it was like evening time. It was like the evening, and I was feeling hungry, and I wanted some pizza, a slice of pizza, because the Ninja Turtle movie came out around that time, or sometime. So I was like infatuated, or like I loved pizza. Like for some reason, like I wanted a slice of pizza this night, and my mom, she gives me some change. She's out here, take some change. She didn't say it like that, but she speaks Spanish, so she said, take some change. I take the change, and then I start heading out the apartment complex. And I'm walking. I go out through the alley. There's like an alley behind the apartments, and I'm walking. Like it's like a little trail, like the sidewalk. So I'm walking. Then there's like two people right here, and then they're like looking that way, up in the sky, right? So I'm like, what are you guys looking at? I asked them or something. I was like, what are you guys looking at? And they just turn around and they're like this. They're like, not saying nothing. And I'm like, what the hell? And then they look at me, and yeah, both of them. Oh yeah, it was this lady, this Asian dude, and this like Latina lady. They were like older. You know, I think it was the guy that owned the laundromat, because there was a laundromat in the corner of the place I used to live at. And so I think he owned the laundromat, and they're just right outside the corner of the building, looking towards the right, and then towards the right there was like the tree right there, and the UFO was just like hovering, like, but it was not even making that noise. So I was all like, what? And then they turned back around and looked at it, and then I look at it, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, massive. Like, it was like literally it was about like 30-some feet, like long. And I put little drawings and depictions, illustrations of the encounter, but this is like the official video, the best. But I wanted to do it out here so no one can hear me. But I'm sure someone's gonna hear me. So the spaceship was like glowing, like the sun, like it was like that, and it was like a metal that was glowing like that. And then I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta run back and tell my mom and everybody to go down this way. Let's just say it's like that way, you know. And then I try to move, I try to go, and I can't move. I'm like, what the hell? Like, so then like I turn back around, like, and then I'm like, now I'm like them. I'm like, when I walked up to them, now I'm getting like, you know, stuck. I'm drawn to it. I can't move. I can't even talk. I can't even, like, you know, I would have threw a rock at it. That's how close it was. It was hovering above a pine tree that was like 2 stories tall, the pine tree, in front of these people's house off of Catella and Garden Grove. And the reptilians are coming. They're like, shh. So it's like right there, and I think I see like port windows, like I'm like, and then suddenly, like, we're there for like, excuse me, this is not the best video. Like hacking up all this phlegm up here, all this saliva that I got me going. So it's right there, right? And it's hovering, and we're there for like 20 minutes just looking at it. not saying a word, not even moving. Then suddenly the UFO starts just hovering across. And then it goes across Catella, and then it goes into the other neighborhood. We just like snap out of it, and then we're walking, and then we hit the corner. Say like this is a corner, and then I'm right behind the adults. And as soon as it disappears, like we start moving, we start walking, and then I hit the corner. Like transported, and I blake out. I take like 2-3 steps. I'm like, oh shit. And now I'm in a different scene. I'm running. I'm running down. Oh shit. Down like a hallway. And then these sliding doors open up. And I go inside, and then there's like no gravity. But it's all white. Like the whole room is white. But like you can't even see like an angle. Like it was so bright. Like I don't know, my vision was very fuzzy. So that's after like we hit the corner, the alien. That's the next scene I have remembering. And then I'm like, oh, and then I fall behind. Like say this is a blue barrel. It was like a blue barrel or like some kind of blue thing. And then I hide behind it. I'm like, oh shit. I crouch down. I have a drawing of it too on my channel. And then I'm like crouched up, and then this little like green, gray, slimy, big eye thing comes around the corner, and it grabs me by the hands. It grabs me like this. It like grabs me like this. Like it just like grabs me like. It's like a firm grip. Like I don't know. This grip was like very slimy and plasticky. And it grabs my hand, grabs me by the, right here, forearm. And like, I wake up screaming. I'm like, ah! And now I'm in the bed. I'm laying down in the bed. I'm in the bed. I'm in my mom's bed or something. And I'm like, ah, da, da, da. And then my mom's like, what happened? And I'm like, it's aliens, or something, right? So I had that dream every night after like the UFO encounter. I would have that dream like every night, nonstop. And my mom was like, what's wrong with you? Like, and I'll tell her, it was the aliens. And so she's like, later on combing my hair, like I guess days pass by, and I'm trying to explain what I seen, and I told my dad and everybody too, my mom and those people, but they're like, I don't know, it's just so like crazy that no one like believed me. Everyone's like, what the hell is wrong with this kid? But right after that, my mom was combing my hair, and she sees this mark right here, but it was more protruding. It was like a stamp. It was like a fucking, like they branded me. And she's combing my hair. I had a lot of hair at that time, surprisingly, huh? So she's combing it, and she's like, what is this? How do you get? And I just tell her, I'm like 6 years old. I was like, it was the aliens. So she takes me to the children's hospital in Garden, somewhere out there in Orange County. And yeah, they don't know what it is. They're like, they say it was like germs or something. They give me a cream. It never goes away, but I pick at it. I rip skin. Just I made it to flat like that because I felt very self-conscious. I felt like everyone's looking at me or something. But so that was my alien story. And what I found out, like what I've been finding out, like all this stuff I've been like searching up, and all this information, declassified information, different similar stories, different people, all around the world, these channels that I follow, that these stories are popping up, like similar things. And I just seen this one, not just seen, but it was yeah, some person describing like the same slimy plasticky hands. Like I was like, what the hell? That's the same kind of thing I felt. And so like the technology they have, when we were like right there looking at the like hypnotize, they have like frequencies that can hypnotize you and stuff. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but I think that's how they know all these things from these movies, because they have reports, and they have the technology too. The US has been working on mind control technology since like 1930s, maybe even early, like I think like the 19th century, beginning of it. They already had devices that they were making, and that's how you get the stories like Ian Fleming's and all this stuff. Like, and there's this book too, a man called Intrepid, and that's a really good book too, but that's just off topic. But anyways, like yeah, the technologies they have like are basically like can mind control you, hypnotize you, put you in like a sleeping stage, like sedated kind of frequencies. So my theory was, when we were actually taken into the spacecraft, and we were experimented on, right? So those 20 minutes that we thought we were there, we're just like, they took us, right? They like, as soon as like I turned back around and I went and I was like looking at it like too, and then I started getting hypnotized. And so I think like right there, that instantly, like we were taken onto the ship somehow, like with the technology they have, the scanning technology. So what I found out, like through this journey of finding out things and stuff, like they have the capabilities to scan and clone you and make copies of you, and have original copies, and have multiple copies of you in their hard drive. Like things that I seen like years ago, documentary that I seen on the other side of town over there. But and they were like just randomly, like it was like they were saying, okay, this is what they're saying, and it's true, and it makes sense too, because the Star Trek technology, they have like the scanning, the beam me up, Scotty. Stanford is working on it, and I seen that like 10 years ago or something, 15. And they have the little plates, like, and beam me up, like the little plates and for the lights and stuff, to like break down the atoms or something. Like they were like basically working on the teleportation thing, and they are created it because the Chinese and all that have they sent the messages through teleportation, basically, like sending a message, through like thin air. So it's like that kind of technology, but it's like really advanced. So in this like show that I seen, and I haven't found it like on the internet, it's probably way down there somewhere. Gotta keep scrolling. So in this technology they were describing reptilians. So in this technology that they're describing, okay, they in this show, and it was strange because this is like a military city right here, town area. So this has a lot of hotspot areas too with UFO activity, especially right there in the on top of the Moreno Valley Mountain. There was a UFO in 2004, 3. I was younger and I wasn't high, but it was like the same UFO that I seen, the glowing one. And if you guys know, like if you guys seen that one around that time, leave a comment. But yeah, there was a UFO above the mountain, and they're also in 1952 around September like something 9 or something, there was a UFO at the military base right here. Like from the UFO files that I see that show, I guess they were down here, and I seen it on their shows too, and it was like on their like their little manifesto, their little report, like all the bases that UFO hit, or like, so the UFO was like at the base somewhere, like all around over there. Let me see if I can find it. I think that's the base. So it was like, the way they say it was like around their hangars and this and that. And so in this, like, I keep going back and forth because all these things are like just adding up, right? So the show was basically like describing like this technology that these aliens had. And it's so funny because when the UFO, okay, before I well, how can I see them right now? Shoot, I feel so lost right now. Oh shit. It's not even that. Okay, it's that way. Yeah, I'm like on the other side of the mountain. Okay, so it was like up there, right? And it was just like, it was like hovering above the mountain. Shit. It was hovering above the M, like another, like, probably like 50 yards above it. And it was a glowing one too. But what it did, like, around that time, it let off like 3 pulsars, like beams. It went, boom! It lit up the whole sky. It did that like 3 times. And some of my family members that live on this side, like, seen it from way over there. And basically, yeah, the UFO was above that mountain. And then those shows that they're broadcasting, what channel? At that time, the one that I caught, it was basically describing this technology that the UFOs had the capability to scan and clone entire cities all the way down to like a couple feet down in the ground. It's very ground penetrating radar. So they said all this stuff and that they could create entire cities and scan and clone. And then right after that UFO happened above the mountain, that show came out, and I was like, what the hell? And I was just, no, you know what? I think it was a couple years later. But it reminded me of the I think it was in 2009 when I seen the show or something. But it reminded me of what happened that night and what my experience, and then the mountain. And like, they're saying all this stuff, so they basically possibility that they scanned and cloned our area right here at that time. And I don't know, you know, like, maybe why to run a simulation because, you know, if you see that movie Signs and this and that, but they're in like a spaceship, and they basically have like that whole like Vegas area, like, I think it's like kind of, I don't know if you've seen that movie Signs with Morpheus, and it's a really good movie, but it just shows you like they're in a simulation as well too, and something happened, you know. So what about like if they just like simulated this area and cloned it and put it in a quantum, like, you know, quantum little sphere, a micro universe. So there could be like replicas of different things, and maybe that's why people dream different alternative things or different dreams, or, you know. But yeah, they were talking about all that technology to, like, yeah, how they were saying like they can scan people and clone them. So I think like that technology is like the X-ray technology, and what they're going to work on in the future, how they're going to 3D scan your intestines or whatever you need, like organs, and give you new organs and stuff, say if you have the money, the units. But yeah, it was like that type of technology that's right around the corner. And so yeah, it's just like the video games where they're scanning themselves and like uploading, and it's gonna get to the point where they're gonna like X-ray scan you at the biological level, the matrix, and they're gonna like have every like copy of you, like to build you, like the building block to build a human, right? Like just to like scan and clone. So they're very advanced with their technology, and they were saying all this stuff. And then that's what, the same time, probably the people that see this video too, like when that episode, if you guys can remember, and then around that time they were talking about how the military advances 60 some years or 44 years for 1 year. So right now, if years ago or some shit, so they're so advanced right now that they're like they have left Earth, like to journey out there, right? Because they know something's gonna happen here, some's inevitable. Nuclear wars like right around the corner, the horizon. So they're preparing for like total genocide. And like I think that's why the humans in our DNA supposedly we're like have all these different, like we're related to all these different type of life forms. So what it made the humans, and they put everything inside the human, so when we figure it out, or other civilizations, they can extract and create different divisions of humans, because it's already in our DNA, it's already like here, and it's dormant. It's like all these different varieties of humans that exist, and even like mice and stuff were related to mice, fish. There's like different stages of development, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so they were saying all these things, and I just put it together. But yeah, like, and they're talking about mine helmets, like controlling tanks, and that's like leading to the Neuralink, and also like this thing that I have in the side of my head, because like I always felt like they were like sending me messages, or they were like, because I was always having dreams of the future and like things like that, and I was always like deep in thoughts. But so all that stuff happened, and they basically said they have the capabilities to do that, and they basically said they can scan and clone you, put in your hard drive, like that Rick and Morty episode where he's like in that little universe, and for his battery. But basically it was something like that, and basically they have the copies of you, and then they have the other technology set up in other planets. They can basically, from their spaceship, their UFO spaceship, they scan and clone you in that little pod thing. Because this is like hypothetically what they found in the Roswell crash, supposedly, technology like that. Like hypothetically, like things, what the UFO was capable of. And hypothetically, it makes sense. I mean, to me and my little brain. But yeah, he fucking... They say all these things, and then they say like, well, they have the technology set up in the other planets. They can basically zap and clone you, and send a clone to you, and then the way they showed the diagram, there's like like multiples of you, and in different planets. And then they say, oh, to be slaves. I'm like, what the fuck? To be slaves? So maybe they're like, yeah, they're scanning and cloning us for exotic slaves or something. Or like how we capture animals, and not me, but things, and they fucking put them in cages, and they're like, oh, look at this, is my so and so, like the collector from Marvel. That's how I see it. Like, these people are collecting peoples and animals, and from different timelines and different things, and then they're like taking them way out there, and who knows what they're doing. They're like, it could be slaves, it could be like food. How they show in the movies, or like food to most of them. But yeah, there's just different types of aliens, life forms all around the world. And I mean, they're in here too. They're in this world, and they're in the whole... They're out there for sure. And so that's my story, and my alien abduction, and how I came up with the name Cyborg 165. That's just like a whole other journey that I found out, and I was doing a lot of meditation, a lot of soul searching, trying to find the truth, trying to balance myself out. But it was just a crazy journey, and I ended up finding it out. But I'll make that for another video, and how I got that name. If you guys want to hear how I got that name and the story on that, and there's just like so much so much story for that one. There's like a lot that happened with that. And that was like a whole that name, and when I said it, it was just weird. It was just like a whole different thing. But all these flashbacks, these things that I read and seen, like it all made sense. We were basically scanned and cloned, and I don't feel like I'm the real version of myself. Well, that kid version, I think the kid, they took him, and he's like Star-Lord, and they left a copy here so I can down. And yeah, and then that name too, the one that I carry, it's crazy because I was watching these shows, Zorgar Gate. I gotta look up the video, but they briefly talk about that name and how it was this this person made out of gold, like a silver surfer that was like, and he had wings, and he was like fucking like some a deity back like millions of years ago or something, or thousands. But if you guys know the truth, this, you know, humans been, and different subhumans, a species of androgynous beings, been on this planet for like millions of years, you know. And so yeah, like that name. And it was crazy because I used to have dreams a couple years ago. I started having dreams that I was made out of gold, that in my bones, but obviously I'm not, like I'm not made out of gold. But like I would see in these dreams that I was made out of gold, that I was flying, that I was like using mind power to move things, like, I mean, wouldn't that be fucking sweet? So, but it was strange because that's when I found out about the gold, like way before I found out about monatomic gold. Like I was having the dreams about me being made out of gold, like, and then I started having like that hearing that thing in my head, like, well, hearing like back then, or that saying that you are golden. I don't know, it just kept popping up in my mind. I was like, what the hell does that mean? Like, what does it even mean, you know? And then when I had my DMT experience, one of them, I seen these entities that came up to me with a golden box with an eye in the center. Like it was like animated. It looked like fucking Daft Punk like art. And the beings had golden hands, and I think they were like feminine. They kind of looked like women hands. And but they were made out of gold. Like their hands were made out of gold. Like it was so crazy. Like, and I was telling my friend, I can't believe what I'm looking at. And I had my eye closed, you know, my eyes closed. So I was seeing with my third eye, and I was like, I was moving like this, and you can see like the depth, like all the angles. And yeah, and they came up to me with a golden box. The eye was like a white little eye, and then the hands were made out of gold. It was like white trim too, and that's like a whole nother story. But I have art, I drew that too, and that was just that. And very interesting. It was very interesting. So yeah, this is like that DMT experience was like 2 years ago, and or something, like a year and a half ago, I think like two. So all these things were like, and I found out about monatomic gold like 10 years ago, around 2014. Yeah. So that's when I was like, what? Monatomic gold? Because there was like these scientists, and I'm like, who the hell are all these people? And where you guys are at, huh? I was like, but this scientist dude, like freaking awesome shit. He fucking nano fused gold in his freaking DNA somehow. I don't know how the hell you do that. Like, where's your DNA at? Is it just in your blood, or is it like on your bone or something? But he basically fused his DNA with fucking gold, And it basically was saying that it's going to have like endless energy of supply, because gold is like a conductor of electricity and energy, right? And it's in our cell phones right here, and satellites, and the spaceships, and the helmets. So gold is like, it's been around, and it's very, there's a lot of things you can do with it. And I think like that's why how they say like they came to mine the gold, and they made us into slaves and this and that, and modified us to mine the gold. Because maybe these beings, they were like, they needed the gold to like live longer, to like, do their little science thing, and they knew what it was, the capabilities of it. And I think maybe that's why they confiscated the gold like back then, like 100 years ago, and they're going to take us into digital currency. So I think it was like, because they knew in the future like the gold was going to be worth a lot, and it was going to be used in like computers, a lot of things, right? So I think that's why they took it. I mean, that's my opinion, so in my sci-fi story, because they had a alternative purpose for why they confiscated the gold. Maybe like the aliens told them, well, we need all your gold. If you don't give us your gold, then we're gonna start some shit. So the leaders at that time were like, okay, we need to come up with a game plan, get all the gold, put it in Fort Knox, and people already know there's not even gold there. It's like, where's it at? Where's it at? It's in the technology. It's been being used in the technology. It's used in the spaceships, and like, who knows what else. And then they're making it into monatomic form, like powder form, and that's where you need to like eat it. When you consume it, then it starts repairing your bodily functions, and just gives you longevity, and makes you think clearer, because it wires your neurons in your brain, and just like gives you more electric energy. And so that was that. Just a bunch of little stories. This beautiful place called Earth. And I'm the king of the hill right now. No one made it up today because it's hot, but now I feel like cold. My body just regulated. I had to take a little nap. I feel a little bit better, and I just really appreciate y'all, whoever's watching this, and the aliens. I'm out here. It's Cyborg 165. Cyborg 165. Right here, just just interacting. If you guys can reach out to me again. I know I've seen a lot of things, and I'm still seeing things to this day, and miracles and signs by the Almighty. And don't ignore the signs and the patterns, because they're really out there, and we're living in a simulation. And if there's like magic, there's codes, there's sheets code, like it's like the Rubik's cube. You're trying to pop open the door, trying to figure out which way to go in. And they know there's portals here. And if you study the Emerald Tablets or hear them, like I hear the audios, it's not like I'm reading it and like studying it. But verbally, I hear it, so it's like I'm studying it, right? So there's a lot of things, and I wish just like a lot of people knew about it, because they talk about like inner entrances in Earth, different entrances, like these high power mighty beings like travel through space and time in Earth, and it can be at one side of the world, like there's really higher entities and life forms, and so much crazy stuff that it blows my mind, and I love it. I'm blown away with it. I try to understand it, or try to just read about that, and just learn different things. And because it's like your little kid, like when you're like hear about giants, you hear about vampires when you're a kid, you're like, oh my god, are they real? And then people start telling you they're not real, and then you just leave that little, and that's what like what hinders us from growing into more psychic awareness. And I'm sure you hear from other channels, because I'm just regurgitating kind of what they're what they say, because it's kind of true. Like when you're seeing ghosts and spirits, and you tell the kid it's not real, and it's not, and like you're seeing things, and then you start losing the light, and you lose the light, then you lose you you lose in touch with like yourself for a while, and then like you want to come back to like that imagination that you have when you're a kid, and like everything is so real to you. Like your imagination is like what made this whole universe. Like we imagined all this. Someone did. Someone has a brain, like a big brain. She's like the Marvel, like how they show, and the Marvel movies too. Like I'm gonna break down a couple of them, because in the Thor one, the first one, a lot of symbology that I didn't see at first, like, but when I watched it again, like I know there was like little things I caught, but there was other things that just blew right past me, and then I seen it again, and I was like, wait a minute, like that's like the arc of a million years, the boat, like where Odin's sitting down, and like the boat, like the Egyptian black hole, the wormhole. And that first one, they're just talking about teleportation. Is like with the the Bifrost. So that stuff is like real, like the Bifrost, the teleportation, the wormhole, like, and because they're talking about that guy's law. What is it? Damn it, it's the guy, the freaking guy, I can't remember, but the guy that wrote about the wormhole and about that, and well, basically they discussed that guy's name in the movie, and they're talking about that guy's theory, or the thing, and I just had to see another video by Greg Brendan, I think that's his name, but yeah, he's the one that was talking about it with some people, and he did a good video, and I'm gonna because I want to look at it again, and he did a really good video, and it just all these references, and I was like, wait a minute, and then I seen it, and it was just like, because it was fresh in my mind, I was like, okay, it makes sense. Like, so teleportation is a real thing. They figured it out, like, and it's been around for like shit, but that was like the fastest way of transportation, when they break through space and time, and they fold it, how they say, and they go through the wormholes. And Thor, that one, check it out, because they're talking about the worm and all this stuff. So I hope you guys can hear me, because I've been walking around, and I know it's not really that much wind, but I'm about to end this, and I gotta head out. I gotta go back down. And if you guys think I'm crazy, put a cuckoo sign. Because and I doubt no one's gonna sit through this, but 40 minutes. But if you do, thank you, and let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. What are you thinking? Let me know. If not, then take care, guys, and thank you for the people, the 90, and we're just gonna take it easy. So thank y'all. I believe